Tonight on CTV News at 6, Road Report, an update on the work to clear snow and ice. The city says Edmonton is meeting snow clearing standards.
We are delivering on the service levels that are depicted in our snow and ice control policy and procedures.
Safety questions about smaller passenger spaces on WestJet planes.
They're forcing you to upgrade, basically, if you want to be able to safely fit in your seat.
And weird beer. A celebration of strange creations by local breweries.
I think the best form of flattery is seeing people trust me to go ahead and brew a beer with carrots in it and turmeric and ginger.
Daytime highs near zero for the next couple of days, and then the real warm-up kicks in this weekend.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. It's been nearly a week since our last major snowfall, and some drivers say the city isn't meeting its own standards for clearing streets. A city spokesperson tells CTV road conditions are up to standard, except in cases where extreme weather made scraping to pavement nearly impossible. Jeremy Thompson is live for us in South Edmonton this evening with more. Jeremy.
Well, Jeff, drivers I spoke with today say right now their biggest concern is neighborhood roads like the one I'm on here right now. I'm not sure how well you can see it on TV here, but this is the kind of road that has a bunch of sort of mashed potato snow all over it. I'm sure if you've driven on a residential road in the last few days, you know what I'm talking about. Now, there is some relief for neighborhoods coming. The city announced a Phase 2 parking ban today, which begins on Monday, though still drivers have plenty of complaints about the state of the roads. Drivers gingerly come to a stop at this Southside intersection, doing their best to avoid a collision on bare pavement slick with ice. Windrows on this bus route in Cahiwin prove a plow has been by, but snow on the road means it's probably been a while. City policy states priority 2 bus routes and other roads in the category should be plowed to pavement within 5 days. It last snowed January 2nd.
They're drivable, so that's good enough for me.
I've lived in Edmonton all my life, and it's just, I'm so used to it. You know what like, I'm not expecting anything more, because, I mean, the first thing they're going to do is just raise up the property taxes.
The head of the roads department says the full complement of trucks and plows has been clearing streets since early December, battling heavy snow and fluctuating temperatures.
We are delivering on the service levels that are depicted in our snow and ice control policy and procedures and ensuring that we hit those.
So why is there still snow on some roads that city policy states should be scraped to bare pavement?
Regardless of how much equipment you put on a roadway at -30, some snow is going to adhere.
Snowy streets don't only impact drivers. Strollers and wheelchairs struggle in the slop. And good luck getting over the windrow on one side of this crosswalk if you have to roll.
Always I'm getting late to, drop off the kids.
This man drives yellow buses and Uber.
Me and my wife, we both are like always whenever we go out, it's like, oh my God, what's going on? They are not clearing the snow at all.
One city councillor says improving traction would make a meaningful difference for drivers.
I do think there are tools out there that we are not using that we could use that would be low cost, but I know also that the budget hasn't kept up with our growth as a city.
The city's snow clearing budget is nearly $70 million a year. As I mentioned, that Phase 2 parking ban kicks in Monday at 7 a.m. That means you basically have to take your car off of the street so plows can come through. The ban is supposed to be in place for about 2 weeks, though it will be sort of rolling by neighborhood. Watch for signs that city crews are going to be in your area. It's expected work per neighborhood will take about 3 days only, and then you can move your car back. If you don't move your car, though, you could get a ticket. We are also expecting, Jeff, as you mentioned earlier in the show, actually a warm-up coming soon, which could make work for crews in neighborhoods a little more messy.
All right, thank you, Jeremy. That's Jeremy Thompson live in South Edmonton tonight. The City of Edmonton will be deploying more transit peace officers this year. The city is adding 30 officers, with the first 15 starting this month. All of the new officers will be in service by July, bringing the total number to 126. They'll patrol the LRT, buses, and transit stations. The city says peace officers can do more than security guards.
The peace officers, however, can issue tickets, conduct enforcement under both bylaws and provincial acts, and make arrests in certain criminal cases. And certainly we've been partnering with the Edmonton Police Service to make sure that we have a seamless approach between our teams and theirs that are in the transit spaces.
Hiring additional peace officers was a directive from City Council last spring. Safety concerns have arisen after a recent video showed WestJet passengers struggling to fit into the airline's new, smaller seat spaces. As Miriam Valdez-Carletti reports, it's now prompting calls for new plane regulations.
Dad, can you just straighten out your legs there? No, impossible.
A cramped cabin experience for an Edmonton area family is causing concerns for comfort and safety on board. The reconfigured seats were installed in a couple dozen WestJet planes last fall.
The only time you really get to understand how seat pitch works is when you have to experience it yourself.
The squishy situation is putting passengers in a tight spot for safety.
My concern is basically getting out of that seat in a packed airplane with an emergency evacuation.
They're forcing you to upgrade, basically, if you want to be able to safely fit in your seat.
Transport Canada is responsible for aviation safety. Right now, it does not regulate how much space is required between rows of seats. Aviation expert John Graddick says the issue goes beyond passengers, as it also impacts flight attendants who have to complete safety checks.
If your knees and legs and thighs basically are covering up that space, how is a flight attendant going to see where your carry-on baggage is safely stowed or not?
The union representing WestJet cabin personnel tells CTV News in part, flight attendants are concerned about the impact that increasingly confined cabin spaces may have on safety, both for passengers and for the crew responsible for conducting required safety and security checks on board. The union also says the airline made the decision without consulting or engaging with cabin crews, even after it raised concerns.
Transport Canada has not really addressed this thing publicly. They may have done it privately with WestJet, but I think that the Transport Canada should have a public statement.
Graddick says in a competitive industry, it's likely other airlines could shrink seat room if Transport Canada doesn't act. CTV News reached out to WestJet multiple times and has not heard back. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
And we have reached out to Transport Canada. It says it is working on a response. A request to adjourn the trial for a man accused of a deadly hit and run involving a U-Haul has been denied. Amanda Anderson explains that doesn't mean the trial is going to go ahead as planned.
A 3-week-long trial was supposed to start this week here at the Wetaskiwin Courthouse. Instead, the justice was asked to adjourn it to a later date. Peter Ashby is accused in a deadly hit and run that happened in February 2024. It's alleged he was on the run from police in a U-Haul that struck and killed 45-year-old Cassandra Gartner. Today, his lawyer told the justice she needed more time to properly address last-minute evidence disclosed by the Crown, including what she calls a new report from a fingerprint expert. This is pretty big. Our tactics have changed altogether, she said. She also takes issue with witness identification evidence and says a Crown met with a witness without a third party present. I'm drafting a fulsome application for the Crown to be recused, she said. The Crown still opposed the adjournment. While he did not admit any wrongdoing, he told the court emails outlining possible solutions to the defense's concerns went unanswered. The justice refused to adjourn the trial entirely and put timelines on when certain evidence could be called. Before the trial can start, though, the court will first hear the application to have the 2 Crown prosecutors removed from the trial. Before leaving the courtroom, the justice also suggested both sides clear their calendars for the week after the trial is scheduled to end, in the event the application is denied and the trial continues. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Wetaskiwin.
There are accusations of harassment from people trying to collect signatures for a recall petition. Molly Metcalf is organizing the recall petition against Highwood MLA RJ Sigurdsson. Metcalf says volunteers have been harassed and she has received threatening emails. She says people against the petition have taken pictures of private information. She says RCMP were notified. As of now, no investigation is underway.
I'm a generally pretty positive person, so I like to see it as just like, yeah, these people are clearly unhappy, but we're still doing something. I'd like to keep going. I would not fault any of my volunteers if they feel unsafe and decide to stop. Like, that's totally fair.
Metcalf says she only has about 500 signatures. The petition needs about 15,000. A petition to recall Education Minister Dimitrios Nikolaides is also short about 10,000 signatures. An Edmonton by-election happening later this year could decide the balance of power for the federal government. And at least one candidate who ran for the Edmonton Riverbend seat last April says he intends to run again. Connor Hogg took an early look at the riding that could be thrust into the national spotlight very soon.
Needs to be done, so we do it.
The people of Edmonton Riverbend chose Conservative MP Matt Genereux to represent them in April. Genereux announced that he would resign his seat in November, meaning a by-election could give the Liberals a majority government.
There certainly is going to be a Liberal government when there's a by-election. And it's a question whether people in the riding want to have a member who's on the government side.
Mark Minenko lost the 2025 election to Genereux by just over 3,000 votes. He says he intends to run again, and any extra attention to the by-election will be good for the riding.
There'll be an interesting focus on Alberta, specifically Edmonton, and on Riverbend, and the values that ridings like this across the country can bring.
I'm worried about what's going on federally, like everyone else.
People loved Matt, so it'll be tough to replace him.
University of Calgary political scientist Lisa Young says the recent resignation of Chrystia Freeland doesn't take the spotlight away from Edmonton Riverbend. She says Freeland's seat is considered something of a Liberal stronghold, while this one, if it flips, could change the balance of power for Carney's government in the House of Commons.
Certainly, I think enough things are in flux that the Liberals will presumably put a lot of effort into contesting this seat because winning would be such a prize for them. Both the Conservatives and the Liberals are presumably thinking pretty hard about who their candidate is going to be in this riding. There is going to be national attention. The stakes are going to be high.
Some people in the riding say they'll be looking at local issues.
If you're not paying attention to the price of groceries, you should go in and take a look today.
Genereux has indicated he'll officially resign in the spring.
For people living in the riding, they should expect to have knocks at the door sooner rather than later.
A by-election has to be called within 6 months of his resignation. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
First look at weather, Josh. That was one of those days that makes me think, winter in Edmonton isn't so bad.
No, unless you get a drive somewhere.
I'm choosing to be optimistic. I'm trying hard, Josh.
We're not going back there. Temperatures yesterday hit 0. Today we were up around the freezing mark as well. -1 for a daytime high. And if you liked today, you'll like the next couple of days. -7's the average daytime high, so 6 degrees above average. And our morning low, pretty close to the seasonal norms in the mid-teens. We'll be in the same territory, it looks like, tomorrow morning. We're at -6 in downtown Edmonton right now as temperatures have dropped fairly quickly in the last few hours. It was -3 just an hour ago. Still -3s north and west of the Edmonton region. We do have a few flurries off to the east and northeast of the city, but that's all moving east-southeast, so we're not expecting to see any of that here in the city. Just partly cloudy skies through this evening, and then it's actually a bit of clearing that'll come through overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So you had some sunshine today around lunchtime. I think the sunniest part of the day tomorrow is through the morning hours. -9 by midnight and -13 tomorrow morning. Light wind right through the day with temperatures pretty close to where we were today, maybe a degree cooler, about -1 or -2 for a daytime high. And then look at your long-range forecast. You get another mild day on the way Friday with temperatures just slightly below 0, but anywhere between 4 and 8 for daytime highs through the weekend and into early next week. And that'll be a lengthy spell of warm and sloppy weather. Closer look at that and the rest of your forecast in a couple minutes.
All right, thank you, Josh. Coming up on CTV News at 6, a new therapeutic pool is in the works at Glenrose Hospital.
It would help with my muscle cramps, and it just gave me some quiet peace away from.
How critical aquatic therapy is for patients, also ahead.
We all know someone in our life, loved ones, etc., who need blood services.
First responders are rolling up their sleeves to help Canadian Blood Services reach its most ambitious goal yet.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Patients at the Glenrose Rehabilitation Hospital have been without aquatic therapy for more than a year. Now they have a new opening date to look forward to. Eric Takash explains.
The pool at the Glenrose Rehabilitation Hospital has been empty since the fall of 2024.
We heard loud and clear from patients, clinicians, and families as soon as the pool was closed that this is an essential service for rehabilitation hospitals.
Today, the province made a commitment of $3.25 million to help renovate the pool. In 2023, Matt Rollick ended up being a patient at the Glenrose after a bad reaction to antibiotics.
I had to have oxygen to assist with my breathing, and for the first several days, I had to ask the nurses to lift my phone and text my wife that I was okay because I couldn't even lift my phone.
Rollick used the pool almost every day on his month-long road to recovery.
The pool was a quiet, comfortable place where it would alleviate the pain in my skin and my limbs. It would help with my muscle cramps, and it just gave me some quiet peace away from the general population to gather my thoughts and keep focused.
Before the closure, approximately 600 patient treatments happened in the pool each month.
Getting this pool back active is going to help support the 6,000 patients each year that have used it and benefited from it when they're recovering from a serious injury, accident, or illness.
The Glenrose Hospital Foundation says it'll raise the remaining $3.25 million required in order for the project to break ground. The province says the pool should be ready by 2028. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
Local first responders and military members are trying to help Canadian Blood Services reach what it's calling its most ambitious goal ever. The organization wants to find 1 million new blood and plasma donors in Canada over the next 5 years. Local police officers, firefighters, paramedics, and military members are donating while also encouraging people to sign up through the Sirens for Life campaign. They'll take part in donation drives throughout January. First responders often help people who will eventually need blood, so they understand the importance of donations.
We all know someone in our life, loved ones, etc., who need blood services for lots of other medical reasons too, and we just want to help step up and contribute in our way.
Because of our growing population and our aging population, we are seeing the demand for blood products go up over the next 5 years by about 10%. And then also the need for plasma is going to be going up by about 50% over the next 5 years.
Canadian Blood Services says donations usually drop during the winter because of the weather, poor road conditions, and illness. Anyone who makes a donation can enter for a chance to win a trip for two courtesy of Air Canada. Still ahead, he said he was innocent, but Mounties kept pushing.
Are you a parent? I asked you a question.
The Mr. Big sting that backfired in part 2 of the crime tapes, looking back on a 1994 double murder investigation at a Sherwood Park paper plant. And
you got to get the big drift off or you got trouble.
Farmers are digging out short-term problems from this extra precipitation.
Temperatures heating up over the next couple of days. In fact, not just well above zero this weekend, potential record-setting daytime highs. Those details after the break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Extra precipitation over the winter is warmly welcomed by farmers in our area, especially after some recent dry summers. But as CTV's Gates Guarin shows us, the recent heavy snowfall is causing some short-term problems.
Is this how it works? Two old guys shoveling and the young guys in the bobcat.
Bruderheim farmer Neil Whitus is in good spirits as he helps out his neighbor. He and a few others have been helping to dig out this bag full of barley buried under several feet of snow.
Once they take the snow along the edge, it's not so bad. It's the gravity works more.
The bags are used to store excess grain. The recent snowfall means shovels, bobcats, and plows are needed to find it before it spoils.
You got to get the big drift off or you have trouble. The bag gets too heavy and it rips and then you got problems. Yeah.
You can see just how much snow has already been removed from the grain bag, and that's only one side. It's still going to be a few more hours before the snow is completely cleared off and the bag is ready for extraction. Whitus dug his own bags out earlier in the week, but it welcomed some uninvited guests.
You open it up and a smorgasbord we can come eat. So the first day we had the bag out, there was 1 or 2 deer came, and then the second day there was 32 deer last night come to what was left at the bag.
Birds and coyotes also took advantage of some grain that had been left over. Whitus says too many animals can pose a problem.
They're like cattle coming, like they're tame. You go out there, you slam a door, and they'll move about 10 feet, and they sit there because they want to eat, eh?
And he made sure to scare them off as best as he could.
So we had these on the bags. Yeah. I had red and blue flashing lights.
There is a silver lining to all the snow that's sticking around.
Everybody's happy. We're going to looking good for moisture.
Whitus says the ground isn't frozen yet, and moisture should be able to get to where it needs to go. He's optimistic more snow will come to help with seeding.
Hopefully towards April, May, or towards March, April, you get the wet snow. So it's looking promising for everybody.
A positive mindset he continues to have while lending a hand. Gates Gore and CTV News, Edmonton.
All right, weather stats time. So 45 centimeters of snowpack on the ground right now. Is that
that's
correct?
what Blatchford is measuring, although I just heard from my farmer buddy up at Worsley, about 2 hours north of Grand Prairie. 4 feet settled snowpack.
100 and some centimeters? Something like that.
You know what? After being in a lengthy drought across most of the province, this is welcome. Welcome news. I know it's tough getting around in the city, but this is actually really good news. We head through the winter and into the spring. -6 right now as you look through the River Valley Sky Cams, brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed Rider, it's free. -1 for a daytime high today. -1 as well in Grand Prairie. Jasper hit the freezing mark. It's -8 in Fort McMurray. A lot colder there in high level at -18. You see that 4 degrees in Lethbridge? We'll see temperatures handful of degrees above zero starting Saturday here in the city. There's some flurries and some light snow off to the northeast of the Edmonton area. That actually is moving pretty slowly. So north of Two Hills there, south of Lac La Biche, you might actually pick up a centimeter or 3 of accumulation out of that little pocket there. You notice it's not part of any really big system, though. And back off to the west-northwest, skies are starting to break a little bit. And so we'll get partly cloudy skies through this evening, then some clearing overnight tonight. I think the sunniest part of the day, as we said, should be in the morning. Clouds will increase through the afternoon. And the best chance for some snow is going to be here across the north. That might be maybe 1 to 3 centimeters there. And then through the foothills, from Drayton Valley down through into the Rocky Mountain House region, you have a pretty good chance tomorrow afternoon to see some snow. Some of that may roll through the Edmonton area. It looks like all of it, though, should avoid the Edmonton region. Same goes for Friday. Late in the day, you get another punch of some snow that moves into northwestern Alberta. Worsley probably gets some more snow there late in the day Friday. There's a slight chance late Friday afternoon, early evening that we get a few flurries or some light snow here in the Edmonton region. No heavy snow in the forecast, though, for Friday or any other day in the next week and a half. Temperatures tomorrow should be pretty similar to what we saw today. There's a big cool down on the way for east central and northeastern Alberta on Friday. Daytime highs will be in the -teens, maybe even -20s there across the northeast. We'll be on the edge of that cooler air. I think we're closer to the warm stuff than the cold stuff. I've got -2 in the forecast for Friday here in the city. Maybe we're only -5. After Friday, though, look at this warm air that starts to flood its way in from the west, and then it takes over the entire province by the time we hit Sunday. And so, as we mentioned right before the break, there's a chance of breaking some records Saturday and Monday. I think Sunday here in the city is safe, but Saturday, Monday would be the best bets. -16 Fort McMurray right now. It's -4 in Grand Prairie. Red Deer's already dropped to -11. Wind is pretty light in most areas, although in east central, northeastern Alberta, it is a little stronger, 15 to 20. So you got wind chill in those areas in the -20s. Here in the city, wind chill will not be a factor. We'll cool to -13 tomorrow morning. Light wind, a high of about -1 or -2 tomorrow afternoon with a mix of sun and cloud. There's that chance of flurries, especially later in the day on Friday. Again, somewhere around -2. And then the record for Saturday is 8. I've got 7 in the forecast. The record for Sunday is 10. I think that's safe. Record for Monday of 9 degrees. It goes all the way back to 1891. I think that one's in jeopardy as well. So warm and sloppy through the weekend and maybe some records as well.
Okay, thank you, Josh. The investigation into the killings of 2 men in the early 90s in Sherwood Park was flawed from the start. And when a suspect was finally put on trial, RCMP put an undercover operation in place. It would take years before the public knew just how far investigators and the Crown would go in their effort to convict Jason Dix. Here now is David Owasik with our latest chapter in the crime tapes.
The controversial investigative technique that the RCMP employed against Jason Dix is called Mr. Big. Basically, an undercover sting operation designed to get confessions in cases where police lack evidence. Mounties pretended to be gangsters, and once they got friendly with Dix, they dangled easy money for him to be a lookout during what was actually fake criminal activity. They pretended to murder someone in front of him, even let him watch as they counted out $1 million in real money, all to get Dix to make admissions to the so-called head of the crime ring, Mr. Big, about his involvement in the deaths of Ordzik and Dieter. Jason Dix seemed scared by what they were doing, but the Crown wondered if he'd been tipped off. In the end, he admitted nothing. They did no better with an 11-hour-long interrogation captured on video.
Are you a parent? I asked you a question. I'm a man. Don't insult me. Did you understand what I said?
On the advice of my lawyer, I have nothing further to say.
Answer me, you parent.
While police lied to Jason Dix, they also lied to his 4-year-old son. On top of it all, they kept Dix in the remand center for nearly 2 years. During his criminal trial in 1998, a well-known prosecutor in the case misrepresented a letter at a bail hearing claiming it was written by a jailhouse snitch, when in reality, it was authored by police officers. The prosecutor stepped down, and within months, all charges against Dix were dismissed. Here now is my former colleague, the late Janice Johnson, covering the case on the day it ended.
Jason Dix allowed himself a small smile as the judge dismissed 2 first-degree murder charges due to lack of evidence.
I feel wonderful. It's been a very long time. I had absolutely nothing to do with this.
This was like a national black eye for the RCMP. They were dogged in their pursuit of Jason Dix. So, you know, we feel betrayed. We feel betrayed by everybody involved, the justice system and the RCMP.
Spending 2 years in prison, losing my family, my wife and my daughter and my son, who I haven't seen my 2 children for over 2 years.
You know, there's been a suggestion, well, it's been hard on all the families involved, including the Dix family. Well, Jason Dix is home now, isn't he? And Dieter and Ordzik aren't coming home.
While the loved ones of the victims felt the Mounties had failed them, Jason Dix told us investigators had done him wrong as well. At that point, no one knew everything police had put him through behind bars, in an undercover sting, as well as those lengthy, loud interrogations.
Not once did I ever confess to anybody about this crime because I did not do it. It's a totally different view from the outside than it is from the inside.
Outside the remand center, Jason Dix can reflect on his life today, walking freely, no longer behind bars as the prime suspect in the murders of James Dieter and Tim Ordzik.
The only thing that kept me going was, you know, my family, the Lord, my friends. And the fact
Andy says he found God during his 22 months in jail. A lack of evidence led to his freedom, but the realization of what he's lost in 2 years has sunk in. Foremost, his wife and 2 children.
As far as, you know, wanting to see my kids, yes, I do. As far as the marriage between Lori and I don't think there's any chance of ever getting back together.
He says his formal complaint against the Crown prosecutor stems from a letter allegedly presented as evidence from a jailhouse informer.
In fact, it was written by the police. I just want this brought forth so that it can be documented and people can know about it. It's been a rough road.
And ultimately, Dix would do much more than complain about the Crown. He decided to turn the tables on his accusers, filing a multi-million-dollar civil case for malicious prosecution. It showed the public just how far the police and prosecutor went to try to get their man. That's coming up in our final chapter of the crime tapes.
Still ahead, outrage in an American city.
This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying.
A woman killed by immigration police. Tensions are high in Minneapolis tonight, where a woman was fatally shot by an immigration agent. As CTV's Allison Hurst reports, the shooting and the footage of it that has since emerged are fueling anger and sharply different accounts of what happened.
Anger is boiling over on the streets of Minneapolis amid a dramatic escalation during immigration enforcement operations in that city.
I heard 2 gunshots and a car crash, a really hard car crash, and then I heard yelling.
Footage shows ICE agents walking up to an SUV, one trying to open the driver's door. No! When the vehicle pulls forward, another agent fires the fatal shots, killing a 37-year-old woman.
The one guy said that they reached for her door handle and then she took off and then he shot her through the windshield and shot her in the face.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem described the incident as an act of domestic terrorism carried out against ICE officers.
What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle.
But local and state representatives reject that description, with Governor Tim Walz posting on social media, "I've seen the video, don't believe this propaganda machine."
What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV. And today that recklessness cost someone their life.
Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying.
The Twin Cities have been on edge since the Department of Homeland Security announced Tuesday that it had launched the operation, which is at least partly tied to allegations of fraud involving Somali residents. Noem says they've deployed more than 2,000 officers and have made hundreds of arrests. Mayor Jacob Frey has this message to ICE.
To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis.
As the streets fill with angry citizens, the governor is calling for calm, saying protesting is a patriotic duty, but that it must be done peacefully.
After the capture of Venezuela's dictator Nicolas Maduro, the Trump administration is moving in to control that country's oil. CTV's Joy Malvin reports on plans to sell Venezuelan oil and the seizure of 2 tankers at sea.
Dramatic pictures posted by the Trump administration show the U.S. Coast Guard boarding a Russian-flagged oil tanker after chasing it in the North Atlantic for 2 weeks and risking a conflict with the Kremlin. Moscow officials angrily called the U.S. seizure outright piracy. Another vessel captured in the Caribbean, U.S. forces seen rappelling onto the deck of an empty vessel called the Sophia. Both ships accused of violating U.S. sanctions after the Trump administration ordered a blockade of Venezuelan oil, capturing its president Nicolas Maduro in a daring raid, accusing him of operating a narco-terrorist regime.
So our military is prepared to continue this. As he said, the president, when he speaks, he means it. He's not messing around.
It comes as President Donald Trump says he's in charge of Venezuela and will control its oil, posting the country will turn over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to the U.S. The administration claims it has tremendous leverage to force the socialist government to become an ally.
We're going to sell it in the marketplace at market rates, not at the discounts Venezuela was getting. That money will then be handled in such a way that we will control how it is dispersed in a way that benefits the Venezuelan people, not corruption, not the regime.
After a classified briefing, several lawmakers are critical of Trump's attempt to reshape the world order.
This is an insane plan. They are talking about stealing the Venezuelan oil at gunpoint.
I am totally dissatisfied about their answers of going into other countries.
The Trump administration intends to oversee the sale of Venezuela's oil indefinitely, as President Trump plans to meet with major U.S. oil executives Friday about restarting drilling in Venezuela. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
The Trump administration's national security strategy to dominate the Western Hemisphere may include plans to take over the Danish territory of Greenland. After the U.S. attacked Venezuela, Greenlanders no longer consider Trump's words as empty threats. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
Greenland's vast expanse contains valuable, untapped natural resources. U.S. President Donald Trump cut covets the territory in the name of national security.
He views it in the best interest of the United States to deter Russian and Chinese aggression in the Arctic region. And so that's why his team is currently talking about what a potential purchase would look like.
The White House has not set a price. It prefers to acquire Greenland through diplomacy, but will not rule out using military force. Greenlanders like Inuit activist Aju Peter fear Trump will attack her birthplace, like he did in Venezuela.
It startled me. Some time ago, I didn't take it seriously. But now seeing what the President of the United States can do, it's a real threat.
The semi-autonomous Danish territory is home to 56,000 people, protected by NATO.
If the Americans attack or try to annex Greenland, Denmark will have to invoke Article 5 in NATO that says the NATO countries have to come and help us against that attack. The Americans would, of course, veto that, and then NATO would be finished.
Greenland shares a border with Canada on Hans Island in the Arctic Ocean. Now both have faced American threats of annexation.
We stand with Denmark, we stand with Greenland. Our closest partnership is with the United States, and we'll work with everybody to make sure that we move forward together.
The Prime Minister says Canadian forces can protect the Arctic from Russian and Chinese threats. What the military alliance can't do is protect member nations from an ally. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Still to come, relationship reset.
No doubt there are going to be challenges, and the two countries won't see eye to eye on everything.
What's on the agenda for Prime Minister Mark Carney's upcoming trip to China and the tightrope experts say he needs to walk? Stay with us. Looking at the markets, the Canadian dollar closed near 72 cents U.S. Oil was down $1.14, closing the day at $55.99 U.S. a barrel. Gold lost more than $33 on the day. The TSX and Dow Jones both ended the day lower, down 271 points and 466 points, respectively. Prime Minister Mark Carney is heading to China next week to talk trade and security as both countries look to ease trade tensions. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver looks at this important first visit to China by a Canadian Prime Minister in nearly 10 years.
After years of tense relations, a change appears to be brewing as Prime Minister Mark Carney gets set to try and address thorny trade issues in Beijing with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
No doubt there are going to be challenges, and the two countries won't see eye to eye on everything, but there are some common and shared interests.
Next week's visit will be the first by a Canadian Prime Minister in nearly a decade, and the first since China arrested and eventually released Canadians Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor in retaliation for Canada's detention of Huawei's Meng Wanzhou. One of the biggest flashpoints that's expected to come up, tariffs. Canada imposed a 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles in 2024, a move met by China, who implemented a punishing 100% tariff on canola oil and a 25% tariff on certain pork, fish, and seafood products.
We hope that there'd be tariffs, removed immediately. But as I say, this, history has said that the removal of those tariffs does take some time.
But while this three-day trip is being viewed as a relationship reset, experts say Canada has to be cautious not to trigger any alarm bells in Washington, with negotiations on the North American trade deal set to begin later this year.
If we are seen to go too far down the path of befriending China, we know who in Washington is going to be irritated by that.
But while tariffs are expected to loom large, the Prime Minister's office says energy, agriculture, and international security are all up for discussion. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
An independent review of Calgary's water main break in 2024 is calling for urgent and far-reaching reforms. It also warns the city's water system remains at risk without major changes. The report found a single pipe carries up to 60% of Calgary's drinking water. The panel traced the risk of disaster back to 2004 when another water main burst in Calgary. That raised concerns for other parts of the city's water system built with the same type of concrete pipe. In the following years, projects to assess and monitor areas of concern were repeatedly delayed. The panel stops short of blaming any one council, saying this was a systemic failure that built up over many years.
The city has had, I'm going to say, a less than robust set of asset management practices. Those practices and process disciplines around risk management, asset management planning, and long-range infrastructure planning were lacking in a number of key areas in terms of working conjunctively with guiding investment around the water network.
The same line also ruptured December 30th. Its key recommendations now include accelerating a steel replacement pipe along the current Bearspaw feeder main. The steel structure is going up and construction is about to go into overdrive at Calgary's new event centre. Work in 2025 concentrated on digging the 35-foot hole for the new home of the Flames. Now they're building up. 1,100 structural piles have been poured. 9,000 metric tons of steel is being installed. Up to 200 workers are on site every day, and work will continue through the cold winter months. 2026 will see exterior cladding added. The project is still on schedule to open in the fall of 2027. The town of Taber says last month's explosion at its arena was caused by a chain reaction of events, starting with a Zamboni part failure. It leaked propane that sparked an explosion in an electric heater. The town is now hoping to win a contest that could help cover the cost of a new arena. Still ahead, unleashing the weird.
People are excited. We have people coming in from out of province, and we actually are like kind of digging into more themes and having a bit more fun with it.
Edmonton area breweries have come up with their latest concoctions to scratch your brain. Stay with us.
Thursday in your morning, the long journey of Canadian rocker Sam Roberts celebrating 20 years since the album Chemical City. We'll talk to him and look further back to the history of VHS tapes.
Local breweries are ready for Edmontonians to try their latest renditions of wacky and unconventional beers. Weird Beer is back for a fourth year. 9 tap rooms in the Edmonton area are offering up their quirkiest flavors. The theme is classic monster movies. Some examples of the weirdness include Analong's Creature from the Baklava Goon, Manual Labor's The Deadly Mantis, made with crickets, and Bent Stick's 24 Carotene.
I think to see the other breweries continue to support it and continue to believe in it and continue to champion it. I think the best form of flattery is seeing people trust me to go ahead and brew a beer with carrots in it and turmeric and ginger.
Beer enthusiasts are dared to grab a passport and adventure to each stop to try out each of the new brews. If you collect a stamp at all of the locations, you can claim a Weird Beer Chalice. The event runs until February the 1st.
Temperatures today hit -1. We'll be in the -13 range tomorrow morning and about -1 or -2 tomorrow afternoon with, we'll call it a mix of sun and cloud. I think there's more sun than cloud in the morning and probably more cloud than sun in the afternoon. -2 on Friday. Chance of a few flurries late in the day. No heavy snow, though. And then the melt is on. Close to record highs Saturday and Monday, and daytime highs should be 4 to 8 degrees above zero right through to the middle of next week with no cold spell anywhere in sight.
All right, sounds great. Thanks, Josh, and thank you very much for sharing your time with us. Visit our website anytime at ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Good night.